Good morning. Welcome to your program, Your Agenda, here on Cignal TV, One News, channels 8 and 250. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, welcoming you today, September 11, 2023. And if you do some prayer after the program, please say a prayer for all the souls that passed away during the 9/11 attack in the United States many, many years ago. Let's not forget them, and let's pray that they would all rest in peace. Anyway, today is turning out to be sunny, turning out to be quite warm, and medyo paghandaan nyo na po because I am sure that it is going to be a hot day, judging from what I see outside the window here in Barrio Capitolio. Today, we are going to tackle a very important matter that many of you may not have been paying attention to. It concerns the fact that I believe it was reported about 3 million or so students did not enroll in public schools this year. And that is going to be a serious problem because it's like a domino effect. But before we get into all of that, I'm sure our guest for today will be able to tell us what to expect. Before we get to any of that, let's start our day with gratitude. Thank you for all of you who are watching us. Thank you who are Cignal TV subscribers. Thank you those who watch us via Facebook and YouTube. And magpasalamat po kayo kay Lord dahil tayo ay lahat gumising, and I pray that you are all in good health. Now, let's start with our daily starter. And Gab, if you would, please go to our daily starter. Medyo mahaba-haba po ito. If you want to live the life you've never lived, you have to do the things you've never done. If you want to make the most of the life you have, you must live your life in line with the purpose for which you were born. Yan po, importante po ito because we often start with the first line. Oh, I want to live like this. But we don't go to the second line that if you want to climb a mountain, you better get into shape. If you want to travel, you better learn about the destination, prepare the agenda, and also make sure you have time and budget. So everything is about preparation for what you want in life. And for those of you who already are blessed, medyo pag-isipan po, think about it. Because I know a number of people who have everything, who has everything, but gusto pang, bro, gusto kong bumalik sa office, etc. Hello, you're already retired. When you are retired, you're given a second chance to do the things you were not able to do because you had to earn a living and go to office every day. And so that's just a reminder for all of you. Be thankful for what you already have, the opportunities that are available to you. And sabi nga ni Nike, just do it. Let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star, September 11, 2023. And ito na nga yung sinasabi ko sa column ko today. I wrote an article today. Economic team shocked by rice price cap. Joke no. We were not consulted. Okay. Contrary to the last weekend's behavior in Malacanang, Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno has admitted that the economic team was not consulted when Malacanang imposed a price cap on rice, as he noted that the measure should not last long as it cannot be sustained. In a briefing, Diokno, who heads the economic team of the Marcos administration, said he was, quote, shocked when the measure was announced on August 31. Jokno, along with Socio-Economic Planning Secretary Arsenio Balisacan and Budget Secretary Amina Pangandaman led the 14th Philippine-Japan High-Level Joint Committee meeting on infrastructure development and economic cooperation in Tokyo during the last week of August. Kumbaga, natapat na lahat sila out of town nang nabulaga sila with the announcement. Meanwhile, at the top of the front page, OVP's use of 2022 confidential fund may reach the Supreme Court. The Progressive Bayan Muna Party List group will file a petition before the Supreme Court to question the office of the Vice President's 125 million confidential fund last year. Yan, umpisa na po yan. Medyo marami nang gustong pumunta sa Supreme Court to challenge a number of budgetary provisions and practices. Meanwhile, the top photo is a photo of the new FIBA World Cup champions, which is Team Germany. Okay, members of Team Germany celebrate a first ever FIBA World Cup championship after beating Serbia 83-77. Ayan. So I wonder when we will see an African football team dominate the World Cup. Huh? I saw that in a TV series recently. It's an interesting suggestion. Okay. Meanwhile, GMA on dinner with Lenny, Bicol politics on menu. It seems that former President and Pampanga Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal Arroyo had dinner with the former Vice President Leni Robredo, but as guests of Alita Mercado, mother of Mayor Art Mercado of San Pedro, Laguna, only to talk about life and Bicol politics. Kasi yan, medyo biglang kumalat sa social media and people were wondering, what's going on? Is there an alignment? Dinner lang po, walang politics dyan. Or chismisan about Philippine politics. Okay, so meantime, we have article here regarding the LTFRB. LTFRB sets fare hike petition hearing on September 26 regarding the petition of transport groups for a 5 peso increase in minimum fare and a provisional adjustment of 1 peso. Parang too late the hero na nga yan because in the middle of it all, after they had filed the petition and before the LTFRB could answer the petition of transport operators, tumaas na naman ang krudo. So the answer to that, car-free Sundays. Ayan po. More than 12,000 bikers and runners joined the launch of car-free Sunday mornings along Ayala Avenue yesterday, which aims to promote healthier and eco-friendly lifestyle for the community. Ayala Avenue will be closed from 6 to 10 a.m. only, all Sundays of September only. Ayan po, in-announce ng Ayala Land Inc. Maybe they should make that more frequent and longer, and it should be copied in many places in Metro Manila, if not the Philippines. Sobrang mahal na po ng fuel, etc., etc. Meanwhile, Gibo or Secretary Gilbert Chidoro came out with his impressions. 10-dash line shows China's expansionist policy. So yan po, while speaking during the deliberations on the Department of National Defense proposed 232 billion budget for 2024, the Secretary of Defense observed or pointed out that the new version or the new claim of China that they call 10-dash line is nothing but a proof of their expansionist policy. Meanwhile, dun po sa tragic earthquake in Morocco, no Filipino casualties have been reported, although it is so tragic because thousands of people have died and they are still trying to dig through the rubbles. Sobra daw lakas ang nangyaring earthquake o lindol. Meanwhile, DepEd has been told, stick to historical facts on diktadoryang Marcos. The Alliance of Concerned Teachers, or ACT, yesterday condemned the Department of Education, DepEd's directive to change diktadoryang Marcos to simply diktadura in the grade 6 Araling Panlipunan syllabus under the new matatag curriculum, yanking out the Marcos family's identity from the grade school lessons on Ferdinand Marcos's dictatorship is distortion and sabotage of truth about one of the darkest periods in Philippine history, the teachers' organization said. Ayan po, no? Ang ika nga nila pinagaganda lang naman. Solo kayo dyan. Okay, speaking of pinagaganda, McDonald's executives donate over 150 reclassified chairs made from decommissioned seats, tables, plastic, wood, and steel from renovated McDonald's stores to Marikina Mayor Marcy Chodoro and officials of San Roque Elementary School. Ayan po, kahit papano, may magandang mauupuan ang mga estudyante, 150 pieces, may recycling pa. That about covers all the news on the front page of the Philippine Star. Let's now go for a quick break, and when we return, this is a serious discussion, and I do hope you will all stay with us because it might just be a piece of news to you, but it will affect you or the future generation in years to come. We'll be right back here on Agenda.
Department of Education missed their enrollment target for school year 2023 to 2024. Based on their learner information system, there are about 25.9 million enrolled students so far. This is 3 million short of the agency's 28.8 million enrollment target for this school year. So ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro asked Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte what happened. But this is not the only issue VP Sara is facing so far. Her proposed confidential funds for DepEd will also be subjected to a review of a Senate Oversight Committee. Let's discuss all these on today's agenda.
Pasig Representative Romulo is the current chairperson of the House Committee on Basic Education and Culture. In his years of serving in the Congress, Romulo authored numerous bills on education. These include the Scholar ng Bayan Act of 2014 and Open Distance Learning Act. Romulo is also a product of the prestigious UP College of Law.
Good morning, Congressman Romulo. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Sir Cito, and to everyone listening and viewing your program. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Okay, at umpisahan na natin. I am trying to make people understand that the shortfall of the DepEd, yung kanilang kakulangan o hindi pag-enroll ng 3 million students is not just a piece of news. That this is going to come back to bite us, tatamaan tayo nito in the next year, the next year, the next year, in terms of added enrollments, burdens on budgets, pati na yung mga estudyante na dapat ay sumusunod sa isang curriculum at program, biglang magkakaroon tayo talaga ng kaguluhan. Could you help our viewers understand the situation, what's going on, what happened? Is this just a question of missing a quota or talagang magkakaroon ng disturbance?
Yes. Salamat, Sir Cito. No, first of all, una-una yung ano po talaga, yung nalabas po na datos ni Congresswoman Franz ay base po dun sa September 4 na linabas rin ng Department of Education. Doon pinapakita na 25 million pa lang ang naka-enroll sa kanilang LIS, yung system nila. So nagtanong rin po tayo sa ating DepEd at lumalabas po nung September 8 po, nung September 5 po, September 4, nung unang lumabas yung 25 million, may kakulangan pa rin po doon ng 2,194 schools. Hindi pa po nakaka-submit nung kanilang list of enrollees. So yun po, ina-up-to-date pa po yun. Talagang minsan, Sir Cito, no, it takes some of our schools some time to submit that to the Department of Education. So meron talagang late registrants. As of September 8, nakita rin po namin sa Facebook ng DepEd, more or less naka-enroll na po from 25 million, nasa 26.3 million na po sila. Today po or tomorrow, we expect another update and we will also expect po of the 2,194 schools that did not submit, kaya kulang po ng 3 million, ilan na po yung nakapag-submit. That is why at this point, Sir Cito, medyo with respect to the enrollment, I think we have to wait a little, give it a little more time kasi talagang yung LIS system ng DepEd, minsan mabagal po talaga minsan hindi na-upload po talaga dun lahat. So in this sense, we have to wait a little, but you can see po, nag-i-increase yung number. And probably, as they encode, and probably po, we will reach that number. But we will wait po for the final number when all 2,194 schools, DepEd schools, finally submit their list of enrollees.
Okay, so you're saying that the first suspect is that na-late ang submission o pag-report ng number of enrollees because 2,194 schools had not yet submitted.
Yes, as of September 4, when the 25 million number of enrollees became public. Pero ngayon September 8, nag-announce po ang DepEd dun sa Facebook nila that 26.3 na, pero hindi nakalagay doon ilan of the 2,194 na nakapag-submit. So we will just have to wait po, until that announcement. So at this point, Sir Cito, no, it is the number of enrollees. Of course, as you pointed out, laging worrisome yan if we do not reach the target. Kasi ang tanong, saan napunta yung mga estudyante? Pero at this point, feeling ko it is still too early to say, because of the systems po, no, to say if talagang hindi na-reach yung target o hindi.
Okay, so too early. But how confident are you? And please believe me, I want to trust the DepEd. I support the DepEd. Pero natatakot lang ako, baka mamaya mahilot itong mga reports na ito, itong numbers na ito. I mean, I don't see any reason why they should not report properly. But the reality is we have poverty. We have a lot of job loss. We have a depressed or a poor underperforming economy. Is there really a study, an investigation, or a proper research being conducted kung ilan ang naapektuhan economically and have decided, boss, hindi namin kaya, we can't afford to send our children to school?
Well, Sir Cito, with respect to a study, kunyari sa economics, kung rason yan or after the pandemic, I think right after this, pag na-complete na yung learner information system ng DepEd, and doon makita natin kung talaga nagbawas, I think it is about time to make a study. But Sir Cito, there was a study that came out a few months ago, conducted I think by government rin po ata, wherein they said that 40% of students that begin from grade 1 drop off by the time they reach, hindi na umaabot ng grade 10. And then in that same survey, nagtanong rin po sila eh. Meron silang tinanong kung bakit nag-drop out yung 40%. Nag-survey sila. My expectation was, ang sasabihin would be economics, kulang talaga sa panggastos. Pero the number one reason for those who dropped out between grades 9 to 10 was lack of interest. Hindi po, number 2 lang po yung economic. It was lack of interest. And that is why, Sir Cito, sa totoo, ever since the 18th Congress, and right now, I support the revision of the curriculum for grades 1 to 3, simply because that is what we need. Kailangan po talaga, and of course po, the World Bank study, which estimated that we have a learning loss of 10-year-old learners. That's learners going from grades 3, 4 to 5. So ibig sabihin po talaga, we have to improve. Nagtutugma lahat eh. We have to improve yung functional literacy, yung reading. And that is why yung grades 1 to 3 revision, yung matatang curriculum for 1 to 3, sang-ayon po ako doon eh. Because masyadong marami po yung dating subjects. And then the competencies, again, marami masyado. Ang hinaing ko na lang nga po ngayon, sinasabi ko sa DepEd, is that they should roll out, implement immediately the 5-subject rule for grades 1 and 3. Di ba, Sir Cito, yung 5-subject rule nila will focus on reading, and basic mathematics. Tingin ko po yun talaga yung solusyon eh. So that first, yung World Bank study, no, estimate nila na 90% learning loss, yun masagot natin because that is something immediate na kailangan natin kaagad itakel. Pangalawa, yung sinasabi ng survey na from grades 9 to 10, 40% ang nawawalang estudyante because number one reason was lack of interest. And again po, no, Sir Cito, of course, magkaka-lack of interest kung mahina yung reading comprehension because as you go up the levels, syempre yung mga pinapabasa po natin ay mas nagiging complicated, medyo magkokonekta-konekta. Kung hindi naintindihan yung binabasa, kaya magbasa. Pero hindi naintindihan yung binabasa, it will be, talagang mawawala ng gana po yung estudyante. That is why it is responsibility now of DepEd, our government, the government now, siguraduhin po natin na we address these issues. And I think the focus on functional literacy, meaning reading, basic math, is the key to this challenge.
But Congressman, look, I am not an education expert and I'm not a child psychologist, but I have learned at this stage in my life that the biggest mistake we commit is we don't ask the children. We don't ask why they've lost interest. We don't study the environment that they deal with because isa po sa mga alam ko, going out into the barrios, most children up to now still have to walk at least 2, maybe 3 kilometers to get to their
Yes.
schools. Sa layo. Kasi yung barangay, walang eskwelahan. Ang mga
Yes, correct.
eskwelahan usually is a few barangays away. Nagtaka nga ako, dun lang sa Batangas, nakita ko na yan. So, first, the distance of having to walk to school. Second, having to carry so many bags. Third, pagdating mo dun sa eskwelahan, abay, kukutsain ka, lalaitin ka dahil napakaluma na nung damit mo, etc., etc. Has there been a study, kahit na random, na and people might say, Cito, ano ka ba? Puro ka study. Kasi hindi po natin masosolve ang problem if we don't deal with the students, ask them, kumbaga ask what the customer experience is like, Congressman.
Yes, Sir Cito, ako I agree naman, dapat na rin gawin po yan. Pero there are certain challenges na medyo obvious naman po yung solution. We don't have to ask. First, tingnan po natin yung shortage of classrooms. Sa totoo po, Sir Cito, kung titingnan po natin, ang karamihan ng estudyante natin ay nandoon po sa yung 5 regions po yan. Effectively po, nabanggit niyo yung isang province which belongs to one of the regions, yung Batangas. Pero majority of our classrooms really belong to these 5 regions. Of course, yun yung Region 4A, NCR, Region 6, Region 3. Again, yung sinabi niyong Batangas, I think DepEd itself does not need to make a study but ask, bakit hindi nila mapuno yung mga classrooms po sa lugar kunyari ng Batangas? Because they always tell us, ang problema nila is that, of course, they have to build on lot that they own. So again po, that will take a little po of asking and sleuthing for them to be able to create access. Pero again po, Sir Cito, that is not the only problem. Access po is just one part of it. That is why I agree po. Talagang we do that together with ensuring yung 1 to 3 natin ay functional literacy. Kasi end of the day, kung walang kalidad rin, walang quality, this is where we are. From time immemorial to 2018 when we started taking these international assessments, and this was pre-pandemic. Lahat na po, nag-introduce pa nga ng K-12. Nagtayo tayo ng mga buildings, nagbigay ng laptop, lahat po yun. Pero where are we? We did not fare well in the PISA exam. We did not fare well in the TIMSS exam. We did not fare well in the SEA PLM examination. Lahat po yun, pre-pandemic po kinuha lahat yun. And of course, pagdating ng pandemic with face-to-face being very non-existent or limited, talagang we are certain. Kasi yung Zoom naman, mahirap po talaga maging effective ang Zoom. So dito pa lamang po, nakikita natin that at the same time, we can do the studies, but now we know that there are certain things that we must do. And taking it from the World Bank study, taking it from the PSA study, taking it from the 3 international assessment examinations, lumalabas po talaga, ang kakulangan po natin talaga ay reading, and mathematics, because doon nakasentro lahat ng examination na yon. And that is why, at the same time, while doing all these studies, and I agree fully with that, we must already make the changes now. Kasi kung hindi rin natin gagalawin yung curriculum, hindi tayo gagawa ng changes, we should not expect any different results. And Sir Cito, para masabi na rin po sa inyo, I think we took an exam ulit. We took a PISA exam, I think, fairly recently. So if we do well, that is good. Pero again po, no changes have yet been introduced when that second PISA exam was taken. So wag po tayo masyadong again po, let us get our heads together. Matalino ang batang Pilipino. It is these changes that we have to do para lang masigurado natin na yung foundational skills na sa kanila.
But I know although you are wearing color pink, I don't want to put political color into our conversation, Congressman Roman, but
Yes.
naka-blue naman ako eh. But here's my problem of recent times. You've been a congressman. I think this is your second run at it or third?
Yes.
Now here's my concern. The Department of Agriculture is headed by the President. The Secretary of Education is held by the Vice President. These are the two most important departments in the country. But no one dares stand up and complain and say, I mean, hindi naman sa no one dares, but parang napopolitika yung institution, yung mga problema ng institution simply because two of the most powerful people in the country are leading it. And I'm asking, should we continue with this practice? Shouldn't we call on the president, or shouldn't Congress call on the president and the vice president? Mawalang galang na po. Can we just put professionals there? Kasi at the rate we're going, mamamatay na tayo sa gutom, lalaki pang bobo mga anak natin.
Yes. Sir Cito, no, I've been asked that question siguro every time na meron akong interview. And again po, no, on my part, sa akin personal naman to, I think with respect to DepEd, there is really nothing to complain about. Why? First, we all know there is a problem. You don't have to be an educational expert to know there is a problem. Because nandun na po yung international assessment examinations, results, nandiyan na po yung studies ng World Bank or in other studies po. And industry itself has spoken. Yung K-12 graduates po, for them, they're not ready. Kaya nga gusto pa nga nila 2 taon ng kolehiyo. And then when we reach colleges naman po, meron mga nagbe-bridging programs. That is true po, including those who offer tech voc after K-12. So we all know there is a problem. Second, we all know po maraming solusyon. Ang problema, there are competing interests. Meron talaga, Sir Cito, sa pananaw ko, meron talaga na talagang may passion for education. And they are really fighting for certain solutions. Pero meron din po, hindi maiwasan, may politika rin po. And thirdly po, there is business in education. So there are various competing interests. We know the problem. We know the various competing interests. You need someone with political will. Na talagang we should have someone with political will who will see all these problems and make a decision. And that is why, ang tingin ko po, especially with the matatag curriculum now, with this 1 to 3 revision, I've been calling for that ever since the last Congress. And now it has, the Department of Education has done that. They have announced that. Sa akin po, again, politics aside, wala na pong politika dito. We need political will to solve this. And because alam naman po yung problema eh. Alam rin yung competing interests, but you need someone to make a decision and to stand by that decision. And at this point, naniniwala ko, political will is there.
Okay, political will is there, but the
Yes.
politicized structure gets in the way because
That's true.
education is co-shared by local government and the national government. There has been suggestion that we nationalize, put it back to the national government, because we cannot have local governments, governors, mayors dictating on programs or controlling the flow of funds to these facilities.
In that respect, I agree with you, Sir Cito. Pero right now po, ang curriculum naman po at karamihan ng mga nanggagaling naman po talaga sa main, sa central. Ang meron ng local governments natin, meron kasi sila tinatawag na Special Education Fund, and they are co-chairpersons of the local school board, wherein decisions there are made by the superintendent and the local government head with respect to the use of the Special Education Fund. And pag dumating po sa mga highly urbanized city, malaki po yung amount na yan. And in that respect, baka doon nagsasabi po talaga yung iba na baka doon merong may influence. That is why sa akin po, you need someone with political will. You need someone that can speak and call out anybody, whether in Congress or in the Senate or in the local governments, na iayos po natin. Alam niyo, Sir Cito, yung pagbabalang, pag-reduce ng subjects from 6, 7, 8 subjects, I think that was a struggle. Hindi po ganun kadali yung nangyarin po na yan because again po, there are competing interests in that. Ngayon po yung changes na pinopropose sa pinag-aaralan sa 11 and 12. Again po, marami na naman pong ano doon. And you need someone who will make a decision and nirespeto naman po ng, well, in politics and outside politics, para
Okay.
decisions can be made.
Okay, Congressman Romulo, we will go for a quick break if it's okay with you. And
Yes,
when we return, let's continue with this very interesting, very informative discussion. We'll be right
Yes, sir.
back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to the program Agenda. And with us, continuing this very informative and very important discussion is Pasig Representative Romulo. Congressman, welcome back.
Yes, good morning po ulit. And thank you for still having me.
Okay, I was caught off guard by your comment that a number of people have asked you regarding the political issues surrounding DepEd, Agri, etc. So
Yes.
clearly, may nag-aalala na ang tao. People are worried or concerned about the state of agriculture and education.
That is correct. And that is why when they ask me this question, again po, no, pinapaliwanag ko lang po talaga. Kasi sa education po, especially sa Department of Education po, sa K-12 natin, sa basic education, the problem po is, I think we all know what the problem is. Hindi lang iisa naman po yan, marami po yan. Ano? Pero isa po sa pinakamatindi dyan is really making sure that yung foundational skills are present. Meaning, marunong magbasa at naintindihan yung binabasa at may numeracy. In fact, even when you go to TechVox, yung mga pumuntang TechVox, yun rin po sinasabi ng mga experts sa TechVox, kailangan po ibigay nyo sa amin ay may reading comprehension at may basic sa mathematics. So para sa akin, this is something that we all know. There are competing interests po talaga in the solutions. So we need political will.
Okay, now clearly, if something is wrong, you have to fix it.
That's correct.
My concern is we're constantly fixing things.
That's correct.
Di ba? Ngayon, sinasabi natin, change the curriculum. There's too many subjects, lighten it, just do reading, math. Ewan ko, may isa pa yata yung subject na gusto idugtong
GMRC.
doon.
Yeah.
Okay, yun. Good manners and right conduct.
Right conduct,
So
yes.
we're okay with that. Then they came out with, let's have the vacation in August and or start schools in August and vacations whenever. So ngayon, biglang sinasabi, maybe that wasn't a good idea, etc. But I'm beginning to feel like everything is an experiment, Congressman. Can't we do something to demand, impose by law, that the proper research be conducted and not political, I don't want to keep using the
Yes.
word political, kasi parang trip ni ganito, gawin natin, idea ni ganito, or nagpunta abroad, kopyahin natin, dual language, parang hello, experiment, future ng mga
Yeah.
bata.
That is correct, Sir Cito. In fact, isa sa na-realize ko po dito talaga, and of course, maraming mas expert sa akin, but the one thing that I realized is that in Congress, one should not, first, unless really necessary, one should not legislate the curriculum or the manner of teaching. Yan, iwan na po natin sa ating mga, sa DepEd and to their panel of experts. To the second question, why don't we do studies? In fact, Sir Cito, in many of our committee meetings, example po, let me give you an example. The expansion of the e-GASPE. These are the vouchers being given to our students in private schools kasi hindi na kaya sa DepEd schools natin. Ang sagot po sa amin dyan, may ongoing study sila and soon hopefully malalabas nila. Marami pong ganun talaga right now na in fairness rin po to world organizations and to NGOs. Ang dami ho ngayon na nagbibigay and Sir Cito, you will of course ang ano diyan is ang tagal na siguro may studies pero now po talagang we are trying to make the changes. Hindi ganun kadali but I think the proof of that is first in the grades 1 to 3 curriculum. Ang tagal na po na natin pinaglalaban niya, now it is already there. Again po the expansion of the e-GASPE is one of them. Again po the teacher career progression, we are almost also there. And of course po ito yung medyo yung feeding program. Kasi ang sinasabi talaga ay ang pinakamahalaga ay yung 0 to 4, yung 0 to 8. Pero 0 to 4 kasi wala naman sa formal schooling pa po yun. So yan yung mga may studies rin po nagaganap right now. And not only po by DepEd. In fact, Sir Cito, the Senate and EDCOM 2 have commissioned studies which we hope to get at the soonest possible time before the year ends so that we can propose these amendments while we are doing amendments already now.
Congressman, while you were talking, I was just reminded of what my wife said and what I know is a practice abroad. Kasi alam mo naman yung asawa ko foreigner. So she was telling me that in England, dahil palipat-lipat sila na dahil sa trabaho ng daddy niya, nung bata siya, when she was young, in England, she studied in England, she studied in Germany, I believe, and also in Holland. And she talked about school meals. And we know that in the US, that is also conducted. And we just assume na, hindi, gawain niya ng mayayamang bansa. But now we in the Philippines are discovering that the poor performance of our students in the latter grades or after school is being traced to malnutrition in the early years, even before birth. So, why are we not educating the public about this? Ako, pasensya ka na sa Congressman Romulo. Ako dito, ang kulit ko talaga about this malnutrition. People simply don't understand that this is a global practice to ensure na yung mga estudyante as they carry on, may laman yung utak.
That is correct, Sir Cito. In fact, to give credit naman po to even the past administrations, marami hong mga pinasok na feeding program. In fact, I think the latest of that was the Early Years Act, passed in 2013, wherein talagang in-emphasize po doon yung importance of ages 0 to 8 at kailangan may feeding program. Anong ginawa po nung even before that naman po, Sir Cito? Ang ginawa po natin, yung child papasok sa K to 12, Pero ang K, papasok na po dyan ages 5 or 6, So paano yung 0 to 4? Ang ginawa po doon under previous laws, ay gumawa po tayo ng mga daycare centers. Dito po sa mga daycare centers, we were hoping na papasok po dyan yung ating mga estudyante. Yung mga nanay, yung mga tatay, ilalagay po nila sa daycare because pagdating sa daycare, doon po dapat may feeding program. And that is easier, in fact, even for government kasi pupunta na lang sa isang lugar. But ito po, what we discovered and what data shows in the recent survey that the study, an FGD was conducted recently, and ano po yung lumabas? Sa totoo po, I think less than 20% of parents send their children to daycare centers. And the reason for that, Sir Cito, sabi nila yung 3 to 4 hours a day or 3 times a week is not sufficient. Kasi sabi nga ng mga magulang na FGD po, sabi nila, dadali namin yung anak na, minsan hindi lang naman sila yung anak namin, marami kaming ibang gawain din sa bahay, meron rin kami mga anak sa bahay. So pag hinatid po namin yan, pag uwi namin, kailangan na namin bumalik sa paaralan para sa kung saan yung daycare center para sunduin sila. So lumalabas po yan. Recently lang po yung study na yon na lumalabas na less than 20%. In fact, go to this daycare centers. That is why sa EDCOM 2 po, we have asked the ECCD Council, that is the body in charge of policy making, that they should coordinate, in fact, with the local governments and the national agencies, and hindi po pwede na one size fits all.
Correct.
Sa ibang lugar.
Yeah, Congressman, I'm sorry to cut in, because I have to go for another commercial. Pasensya ka na, kailangan umanap kami ng sweldo eh. Okay, we'll go for a quick break. When we return, let's wrap up on that issue, pati yung mga naiwanang issue regarding education. We'll be right back here on Agenda.
The discussion on the free college education program continues for lawmakers. While some are in favor of having a screening test to qualify for the government's free college tuition program, Pasig City Representative Romulo is not amenable to this, saying that this is, quote, inequitable and harmful to the middle and working class. Instead of subjecting aspiring college students to such tests, Romulo proposed a review process on the financial capability of their families. This way, the amount of government support a college student gets will be determined by their actual need. The Commission on Higher Education, meanwhile, has already given their stance on this matter. CHED Chairman Popoy de Vera said that there are already filters in place for state universities and colleges.
There are various filters. Even the admission in public universities have filters because the universities have admission test. Kakaunti na nga ang nakakapasok. So, it's not true that there is no filter. In fact, the filter is very strict, and our problem now is how to put in equity.
With this in mind, De Vera also reiterated that poorer families are already at a disadvantage to enter SUCs, hence the need for them to find a way to be more inclusive.
hirap silang makapasok with the current admission system. Kaya kailangan mag-intervene ang mga pamantasan so we become more inclusive. We bring them to the mainstream. We give them hope that that government is there to help them get educated.
How can government then enforce a more inclusive free college education program? Let's discuss that further on today's agenda.
Welcome back, and with us still is Congressman Romulo of Pasig. And Congressman, we're gonna have to do some speed dating here, as they say,
Yes.
dahil down to last 5 minutes tayo. But your reaction or you want to reiterate your point regarding free college tuition?
Yes, we have to have free college tuition, especially for those that need financial assistance. I do not support the nationalized assessment examination to determine who can avail of the voucher or not, for the simple reason na hindi pa natin naayos yung K-12. Alam natin yung DepEd schools natin, yung mga graduates natin, kahit paano kailangan pa natin ng suportahan. That time will come when they will be able to show na kayang-kaya po nila lahat. But now, they need support from government. And sana po, balik na rin po natin na hindi pwede yung lahat ng pumasa. Mayaman, may kaya naman. Siguro yung mga may kaya ay mabalik po natin sa dati o nung UP system po natin dati na socialized. Kailangan may contribution rin. And sigurado ko, Sir Cito, etong mga pamilya ito willing naman pong tumulong.
Okay, now regarding yung mga filters na yan, entrance exams, I heard a number of reaction from young students. You were mentioning how the problems in education, in curriculum, etc. Meron akong mga nadinig na reaction regarding the UP college admission test. And the point of the students were, we are supposed to know deep Tagalog to pass the UPCAT. But that is not taught in our colleges. The Tagalog we learn is basic. Now, if you go to the Visayan will say, why do we need to pass your dialect when we are Bisaya or the Ilocanos, etc.? Should we fix that problem?
With respect to the national, if I understand correctly, national assessment to avail of the vouchers, dapat yun wala. Ang kailangan natin
Hindi, yung sa UPCAT ba, Congressman, na kailangan pumasa ka sa Tagalog. Pag hindi mo pinasa yung Tagalog mo, hindi ka makakapasok ng UP. And sabi ng mga ibang estudyante, hello, yung Tagalog nila, panahon ni Balagtas. Hindi naman ganyang kalalim yung Tagalog na sa school namin.
That is true. Sir Cito, ang gagawin natin dyan is that we can ask the UP admissions kung paano yung examination nila, if they give it in a if they can adjust that. Kasi Sir Cito, no, the one thing also that we should protect is academic freedom. Meaning, hindi naman pwede na kami mga legislators ay makikialam sa lahat. Kasi academic freedom includes who to teach, what to teach. And
Yeah,
again
but Congressman, sorry,
Yes.
Congressman,
Yes,
but if the academic requirements or system is discriminatory based on
Yes.
region, then there's something wrong. Second, are you
I
going to push for the review of financial background of parents dun sa mga nag-a-apply sa state universities and colleges?
Yes, sa first question, Sir Cito, that is definitely unfair. Kung language barrier will be the reason bakit hindi mapasok, I think that is unfair for the simple reason that that does not reflect the competency of the learner. Pangalawa, with respect to the review of the free college education, as I've always said, I think we should go back to the original intent of the UniFast law, which is really to help those who need financial aid so that makatapos po ng kanilang pag-aaral. Kasi Sir Cito, yung tuition fee, hindi naman ganun kabigat yan. Ang pinakamagbigat yan yung pang-araw-araw na allowance na kailangan po nila. Yung because they will relocate probably, especially yung mga taga-probinsya pupunta sa Maynila o from one city to the urban center kung nandun yung in-applyan po nila na paaralan o college. And that will entail daily allowance for food, books, board and lodging. So yung tuition fee nga po, ang sa akin, kung may kaya naman, siguro hindi naman natin kailangang supportan masyado doon para magamit natin yung pondo natin ng maayos doon sa mga nangangailangan talaga.
Last question, Kong, and I think I'm going to have to invite you back again, and we have to do this more, more often because education needs to have a platform, and that's agenda. But last question, may good news ba?
Sa akin po, Sir Cito, the reduction of competencies and subjects, definitely good news yan. Why? Sa part ng estudyante, sabi nyo nga kanina, ang daming libro dala. Ngayon po, with the reduction and focusing on the foundational skills, reading, and mathematics, GMRC of course is included, makikita ko po una-una, hindi na po mabigat yung paa siguro pag na-implement yan properly. Secondly, pati sa ating mga teachers. Alam po ninyo, yung teachers po natin have always been batting for the maximum of 6 hours of classroom teaching. Ang nangyari po sa dami ng subjects, sa dami ng competencies, ang hirap po nung 6 hours na yun, yung maximum, nagiging minimum po yun. So I think it's a win for our teachers and our learners and the whole education system.
Okay, well, since you and I are both from Pasig, may I request that we have coffee or lunch one of this day? Ako na magbabayad because,
Yes,
I saw in the video, there was a lady riding bicycles. It's just so strange to me that Filipinos have not adopted bicycles, yung students ba, to go, and
Yes.
many ideas. But anyway, thank you, Congressman Romulo. Thank you for all the work and your dedication and passion to education. I pray that God will bless you, your family, your father, your sisters, and especially the work of your hands. May God be with you.
Thank you, Sir Cito, and God bless po sa ating lahat.
Okay, thank you very much, Congressman Romulo. And now let's go to our blessing for this week. Gab, if you would, it is from Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 12. Let the beloved of the Lord, which is you, rest secure in him, for he shields him all day long, and the one the Lord loves rests between his shoulders. Kumbaga, inayakap po kayo ni Lord. So our blessing for this week is that you spend each and every day embraced by the Lord as you embrace those who look up to you for your love also. God bless all of you. Please include us in your prayers and team agenda, and please keep it here on One News.